They say you should never judge a book by its cover, but he judged her by her hair. One pull. One careless moment in a crowded airport. He thought she was just another woman he could intimidate. What he didn't know, what almost no one knew, was that she commanded the most elite warriors on the planet. And in the seconds that followed, his life and hers would change forever. Captain Elena Marlowe moved through the airport with the quiet confidence she had earned after 17 years of service, years that included deployments in frozen mountains, burning deserts, and black waters where the world believed SEALs were untouchable. The truth few knew was that Elena wasn't just part of the command structure, she was the commanding officer of Naval Special Warfare Group 2. Every decision she made affected the lives of men trained to be shadows, warriors who trusted her with every breath. But today wasn't about war. Today was supposed to be small. Quiet. She had just returned from a classified operation that would never make the news, an operation where she lost two good men, brothers who would live forever in her memory even if the rest of the world never learned their names. She was exhausted. She wanted a coffee. She wanted silence. She wanted, for just a day, to be a woman traveling home, not a commander carrying the weight of ghosts. The airport was crowded, buzzing with the frantic energy of people rushing to places that suddenly felt more important than anything. Elena waited in line to buy a bottle of water, her hair long dark waves usually hidden under a cover falling over one shoulder. She rarely wore it down. Today she thought she could allow herself that simple freedom. Behind her stood a Marine, young, built like a wall, and loud enough to fill the terminal with his presence. He was angry about something. His cancelled flight. His ex-girlfriend. His sergeant. Elena tried to ignore him, until he decided to make her part of his frustration. "Hey," he muttered, annoyed that the line wasn't moving fast enough. Then, out of nowhere, he reached out, grabbed her hair, and tugged. Hard. "Move up." Her body reacted before her mind even caught up. Elena spun, her eyes sharp and cold, eyes that had watched men lose everything and still stand up. The Marine froze, stunned. He had expected fear, maybe embarrassment. He hadn't expected a woman who looked at him like she could dismantle him without moving a single muscle. "What did you just do?" she asked, her voice calm, dangerously calm. He scoffed. "Relax. It's just hair. Didn't think you'd mind." He tried to laugh it off, but something about her presence, her posture, her stillness, her gaze, made the laughter die in his throat. Around them, people went quiet. A tension settled over the line, as though everyone sensed something they couldn't name. Elena stepped closer, her voice low. "In my world, touching someone without their permission is unacceptable. Do you understand?" He rolled his eyes. "Lady, it's not a big deal." She didn't raise her voice, but her words hit like steel. "I command the men you dream of becoming." The Marine blinked, confused. "What?" And then someone behind him whispered the words that changed everything. "That's Captain Elena Marlowe, the SEAL commander." The Marine's face drained of color. His arrogance collapsed into shame. "Ma'am, I didn't know." "No," Elena said softly. "You didn't. And that's the problem." The cashier called her forward, but she paused. She could have destroyed him with a report. She could have had him removed from the Corps, crushed his future before it started. Instead, she looked at him and saw something she recognized, fear covered by bravado, pain hidden behind noise, a young man trying to prove he was stronger than whatever was breaking him inside. "Meet me outside Gate C in 15 minutes, she said. "You owe me a conversation. And maybe I can help you more than you think." She walked away, and the Marine stood frozen, unsure whether to run or follow the one woman who had just seen straight through him. 15 minutes later, Elena waited at Gate C, leaning against a window overlooking the runway. The sky was turning gold, streaked with orange, the kind of sunset that made the world feel both too big and too small at once. She half expected him not to show. She wouldn't have blamed him. Shame has a way of gluing people in place. But he came. The Marine approached slowly, shoulders tense, eyes lowered like he expected punishment. "Ma'am," he said, stopping a respectful distance away. I want to apologize again. What I did. What you did was unacceptable, Elena said. But I want to know why. He opened his mouth, then closed it. The silence stretched. Finally, his voice cracked. I lost someone last week. My brother. He served. I'm trying to stay together but I can't. Everything sets me off. I'm angry all the time. I shouldn't be taking it out on people, but I don't know how to stop. Elena felt something inside her shift. She recognized the tremor in his voice, the sound of someone drowning quietly. What was his name? She asked gently. The Marine swallowed. Corporal James Wyatt. Elena closed her eyes for a beat. Then she nodded. Tell me about him. And he did. He talked about his brother's laugh, his stupidity, his bravery, the way he always tried to protect everyone except himself. He talked until he couldn't talk anymore, until the weight he'd been trying to carry alone finally cracked open. Elena listened without interruption. She knew the pain of losing people you'd die for. She knew the guilt, the anger, the questions that never stopped haunting you. When he finished, she said quietly, pain doesn't make you weak. What makes you weak is pretending it doesn't exist. He wiped his eyes quickly, embarrassed. I shouldn't cry. Marines aren't human, she asked. Because last I checked, they are. And the strongest ones know when they need help. He looked up at her, confused by her compassion. Why are you being kind? You could have ruined me for what I did. Elena smiled sadly. Young Marines like you become SEALs under my command. Or Rangers. Or leaders. Or fathers. And sometimes, they just need someone to stop them before they break. You go see your mental health officer, she said. You talk about your brother. You stop trying to be a stonewall and start being a man who loved someone deeply. And you remember this moment not as a mistake that defines you, but as one that starts changing you. He nodded slowly. I can do that, ma'am. And next time, she added with a soft smirk, you keep your hands to yourself. For the first time, he managed a small laugh. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. As he turned to leave, he glanced back. Captain Marlowe, thank you. Really? She lifted a hand in acknowledgement, watching him disappear into the crowd, no longer a reckless young Marine, but someone starting to heal. When Elena finally boarded her flight, she leaned back in her seat and closed her eyes. The world was still broken in many ways. But today, she had saved one piece of it. And sometimes, that was enough. Strength isn't about intimidation or rank or who can shout the loudest. Strength is compassion. Strength is accountability. Strength is the courage to face your pain instead of hiding behind it. And sometimes, true command isn't about giving orders. It's about saving lives. If you want Chapter 3 to 6, a full 100-minute script, or a dramatic narration style rewrite for YouTube, I can expand this into a full-length story.